Long time no here. Thank you for taking the time and congrats.
Thank you.
Dude, you
Appreciate
guys
it.
should have won 2-0. What is it? Sorry.
No, I just said appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you guys should have won 2-0. I liked your
Yeah.
comp. Like I was very skeptical about the comp first, but I do like it because
Yeah, I
the
mean it's
only
one of those
yeah.
comps, like
Sorry.
it's good, but if one bad thing happens, the game becomes very hard. So the bad thing happened mid, and then our game was way harder than it should have been. So I mean those comps, I feel like it's good to be willing to play them, but I don't know if we're going that same comp if we're 1-1, Like maybe you're 1-0 up, you have a game, like you're confident in your picks. They draft a very specific way, and then you can play something like that.
Yeah, because the only times, so these no engage comps, the issue is I saw them so many times this year in LEC already from Lost Returns. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay. I mean, they could win the game if the enemy is like really fucking bad and it gets like 35 minutes, but you guys actually played it really well. So I don't want you to leak, but is that like an actual thing that you guys want to practice? Because it feels like, okay, in NA, probably it could work, but then, well, you go international and you play against people who are just like good in lane and they get like first drakes, maybe, right? Like maybe they will win lanes that they shouldn't, right? Or you lose lanes that you
Yeah.
shouldn't win, and then it just becomes like impossible to play, honestly, or the field's impossible to play.
Well, I think the thing in that game is that even though we don't have much engage, they also have like pretty much no
Yeah.
engage, right? Like they're playing Jace, Trundle, Karma, Ezreal, and Orianna. So they don't really have much engage either. And like they have poke, we have Nidalee. Nidalee obviously heals poke. So I think there's definitely ways that we can play that out. But there's like, I mean, you saw us play, assuming you watch all the LCS games, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so in the first day we played Azir Nidalee, but in that game, we had a Sivir, right? We had Sivir, we had Bard, like we had some tools that were different. Like this one was with Yunara Lulu, so it is pretty hard to play, but I just think that it's one of those games where if things go well, we both kind of do the same thing, but then we have like one extra advantage in my mind over them, which is the fact that we can heal the poke where they can't, and then it's a lot of the comp is just about Yunara picking the right timing to, like, in our team we call it beast mode, but it's like to open up, right? Because Yunara, like, it goes beast mode, you press alt E forward into their face, Lulu ults you, get a shield, you get like Shirelias, and you just run them down. So I think that comp is very important to beast mode at the right moments, because you kind of want to force them to force the action a lot of the time, and it's just about you understanding exactly when they overstep.
So I assume you guys are happy with Zven as your carry, right? If you put that much trust in him, because
Yeah,
okay, so I'm friends with him, right? So I'm of course biased, but it does
yeah,
feel like he's playing really well this year, like just individually, just very clutch, spot
yeah,
on.
yeah. Sven is insane. I mean, I think last year, like, the series that really stuck out to me was that finals. Even though we lost to FlyQuest last year, spring finals, like he was a demon in all five
Yeah.
games, and I think he's just an extremely clutch player. I think the whole team believes in him, that he's like a real carry. Like people have this perception, I think, that he's like, oh, he's like older, like he needs to play like certain type of style. Like no, we think he's a carry. We think that if you put him in a good position, he will 1v9 the game. And he's proven that he's able to do that in really pressure situations as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm obviously super happy with Zven, because he checks all the boxes that you'd want for an AD carry. Like he can play weak side, he can play strong side, he can play with resources, he can play without resources, he can make it through hard lanes, he can abuse people with like winning lanes as well, and then he's also a really good leader for the team. So I mean, he's a great player to work with. I mean, there's a reason why he's won so much and he's still around now, is because like he just has gotten better and better. And I think a lot of players, they taper off at a point, but he still grinds. Like this guy plays the most games possible. Like he's somebody who's also very willing to like do whatever's best for the team. Um, and yeah, like he just puts a lot of thought into like what's going to make our team as good as possible. So I mean, a couple of nights ago, I went back to the team house at like 10 p.m. and me and him just talked for like 2 hours. We were just walking around LA, like just
Yeah.
walking around on the streets, just talking about the game, talking about the team. What can we do better? Like, how do we become like as good as possible? And he just has that passion. So yeah, I mean, he's just an insane player to work with.
That's so cool, though. Okay. I have a question regarding scrim culture, because for me, okay, like last year, gold standard was like FlyQuest, right? You know what they're
Mhm.
gonna do. Like they're just gonna play standard, but they don't really lose lanes, and you have Inspired who's like really calculate, right? Who just does
Yeah,
the right thing. I don't know how to say it. Like it's just the right
yeah.
thing, right?
He,
And it
he
just
doesn't
feels
make
like this.
mistakes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly, yeah. So now that FlyQuest is not really like that anymore, and then Lion is also, at least on stage, I don't know how they're in scrims, but on stage it just looks like, well, they're losing lanes, right? Like Dokla's not really up to par. Same for Saint. So who's like the golden standard in scrims? Like, are you guys the golden standard? And does it feel like FlyQuest last year, where you just play like very calculated, or do you guys make like random shit happen?
Well, the thing is, like, last year I would say we were the best team in scrims all year, but we wouldn't play the same on stage, which then means that like you have to take that into account, and you know, things that you're willing to do in scrims might not work out. I'd say this year we're not as good in scrims as we were last year. But I don't know if there's a gold standard. It's like people are just good at different things. Like TL is really insane in lanes in scrims, but then like you watch them on stage and they don't play their lanes as aggressively. They're not looking for big CS leads. You know, like they'll have 10 CS in a lane, but for example, the first game we played against them, they're playing Corky Nami into Sivir Bard. Probably our bad. Probably as a coaching staff, we put too much faith in our bot lane to get through that matchup. That matchup is probably impossible. But our bot lane got through it. You know, it's like one of the things I really like about them, and their picks were good in the game. But they don't squeeze those advantages that they normally do in scrim. So TL is a team where like they're just good at that. When it comes to Lion, it's hard to know. They're similar to TL where they're good in lanes, but I think that they are just kind of all over the place. Like I never know what their plan is for the game. I say TL is good in lanes and they play like a very standard game. They want to win through Drakes. They want to, you know, just progress the game normally. But yeah, I just think teams are good at different things. Like FlyQuest is a pretty good team to scrim. I'd say overall, teams are much better to scrim this year. Even the teams like Dignitas and Shopify, they are good enough where you can get real information out of the games. Where I felt like last year, like old DSG last year, you know, in spring, it felt like like if you before they got Rahel and everyone, it just felt like it was kind of like a waste of time. Like you didn't even know if your scrim conclusions are real. But now I think that the overall level of the league is better. I don't think we have like a super good team like FlyQuest. I don't think our team is as good as FlyQuest was last year, at least on stage, at least not yet. But I think that like right now it's a way better environment to improve than it was before.
Okay, so I want to ask about you later. I don't know if you watch. Did you watch LEC today?
A little bit. Like when we're at the studio, you know, we have a game on in the background, but it's normally we're like, you know, we'll talk draft and we'll talk like a couple things that, you know, we want to check on, because normally what happens is like we come to a conclusion the night before and then Nick and I will talk about it more. You know, we'll talk with Vegard like during the day and we'll think about it more. And, you know, today, Nick and I were both up like 8 a.m. and we're just watching more games. We're like, hold on. Let's go a different direction, because you get mind controlled by the player sometimes in draft meeting where you're like, okay, yeah, no, this sounds really good. And then you think about it, you're like, isn't this just the best situation for them? If we just do something else, aren't we just going to win? So like you have to, you know, balance everything. And then, you know, sometimes they'll bring you back, like not saying the coaches are always right. Like they'll have a better idea. You can go back to it. But a lot of times, you know, we'll just try to tweak things with our draft and we'll have EU on in the background, you know, like we'll have MCoy playing Navi or whatever in the background. You're like, oh my god, this team is like winning. Oh, this guy is so bad. This guy's so good. But no one's actually like watching the game with intention. Like I don't know what happened. I just know which team won. You know.
Okay, so if you watch, I don't know how to phrase it in a nice way, but what do you think the EU broadcast lacks? Because I watch LCS and it's so enjoyable. Like I do actually enjoy every minute of like broadcast and casts and stuff. And then in EU, I just feel like it's so boring. Why is LCS like so much more entertaining? Is it just because it's more bloody, the games? Because I don't know, like the LCS games are so weird, and the broadcast itself.
Well, I personally am a bigger fan of best of threes. Like I think that's just a place to start. Like as a viewer, if you're into the games and I know like how you watch, right? You're thinking about, okay, Fearless, these champs are out. What are they going to do next game? Here are like the power picks. And like, I think that's just more enjoyable than just best of ones. Because I feel like right now in EU, there's a lot of teams, right? And there's I do think that there are like really good teams to watch, but there's a lot of teams that are just hard to watch. Like, for example,
SK.
I hate watching shifters play. Like, I hate watching them play.
Thank you.
Like, they're just tough to watch. Like, it's very hard to watch. Heretics played better this week, but I mean, generally, they've been pretty hard to watch as well. So there's just a lot of teams that are just difficult to watch. Like, you just want to, like, SK, like, you just want to strangle them when you're watching them play. Like, there was a sequence yesterday in the game versus Los Ratones where leader is up 1.5K. And I'm like, please just click bot, just go bot. And he like takes an extra wave, and then suddenly they can't play the game for 3 minutes, and then a random fight happens. Like there's so many moments where you just are like, what are they doing? Skeen smited the crab. Like you're a jungler, you know, right?
No,
He
I saw
smited the
this.
crab level 4 before he invaded, and then he invaded without smite, and then Velia just came and he took the wolves in front of him. So suddenly the Zin, who was invading, that should be up, is now down. And when he invades the chickens later on, he's level 5 and the other guy's level 6. So it's like there's just a lot of teams that make me mad
Yeah.
when they play League of Legends in Europe. That's the main thing. And I do just think like in terms of broadcasting talent, I think that NA just has super good casters. You know, like that for me is a huge thing. You know, I think the broadcast talent is just S tier, right? And EU's had a lot of S tier broadcast talent over the years. You had like the Crepo era, then the Deficio era, then like the Cajal era. But a lot of those people have moved on. And I feel like if you look at NA, it's like you've had you know, for the majority of LCS, you've had Jat, you know, you've had Captain Flowers at this point, you've had Azale, you've had these guys that are just like Kobe has been there forever, obviously. Like you have like these guys that just have so much genuine passion for the league and have just done it for so long.
Yeah. Okay, I have 2 more questions. Okay, jungle meta. Do you feel like there should be more places because you level 1 invaded, right? But besides it, I feel like there's so little invading when it should be possible, right? Like second Raptors respawn and stuff. Sometimes I just feel like people don't really do it, and it just feels like it's okay. Either you level 1 fist, right? You do the blower round, or you just do double full clear, and then you just you kind of grief the game at second crab, or you get it right, like Griffin today, for example. I feel like it's the 4th time he did this split already, where he just fucking griefs the game for second crab. I don't know. Like, do you feel like there should be more invading in general, or is it just like super fucked because the second trap is so important? If you just get something like a little bit off, then it's just fucked for like the 6-minute timer.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty standardized. I think we were one of the teams. It's funny because Griffin, like he still talks to me sometimes. And before we played, he was watching my co-stream and he's like, I didn't know you could like save the camp for the 530 smite. He's like, nice, bro. You're helping other teams, right? Like, so like he got on the meta. I think Blabber was really early on that, which was good. But it just does feel like the game is like really standardized. It's like you full clear. It's like almost everyone full clears bot. Like you always have to full clear bot essentially, because if you go top, then you're gonna lose Drake, right? And then like if the crab spawns, like if you're pathing top and the crab spawns bot and the Drake is bot, it's like GG. Forfeit the game immediately. So it does feel like you're very restricted in that sense. And it's just funny to watch Pro League right now because like I was watching what series was it? It was DRX playing against Dom1, I believe.
Yeah, but they got like mega fisted, and level 4 they just all out fired. Yeah, it was so fucking bad.
They got mega fisted in game 1, then they run it back, they do the same thing, they get mega fisted at the crab again in game 2. It's like nice, that's a series, that's League of Legends right there. You know, like it's just fucking weird that's what the game is right now, where you're just everyone just like you full clear, you go to the crab, and it's like all hands on deck. We are losing the game here or winning the game here, and that's League of Legends. So I think that's like I do feel like you're kind of restricted in terms of the plays you have right now as a jungle. I mean, there's some things that like I've been working on with Blabber that we didn't do today, where there's like some angles that we're trying to craft in there with like different things you can potentially do, or how you can abuse how certain people play jungle timers, but it is very standard right now. Like most people are just kind of playing the same way.
Do you feel like they should add a second crab on the second spawn? Like make the first 2 spawns like dual crabs?
Well, I think that the problem is that the second crab just gives you level 6.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
The third crab, right? It just gives you level 6. So if it was something where it's like, okay, maybe they nerfed it a bit, or they made it so like one guy is not level 6 and the other guy's not level 6, because essentially what happens is the third crab gives you level 6, and that means that you're gonna lose Drake 100%. Like you can't fight level 5 versus level 6, and then you lose Drake, and then you're just behind, and there's no real way back into the game. You're kind of just like hoping that somebody ints, and if they int, you use you like kill them, and maybe you can get back into the game like that. But it just does feel a little bit strange, and I think that's also why you're seeing so many like range bot lane matchups. People want to play Nami and you know Bard and Nico and just all and Lulu and all these range champions now, because you want to win lane, so you have prio to go to the crab. So yeah, I think it's just kind of weird that the game is that the crab is so important right now. That's the biggest issue for me.
Okay, and last question. Why did you trade Nash for Soul? What do you think? It was just like inevitable?
No, I mean, the problem there is that like Zven had no ult. Like he ulted on Yunara, and then we're just gonna lose the fight walking into them without Yunar ult. So I think that we probably needed to be earlier. Like maybe we were greeting for items too hard because like Zven had LDR and then Ian was pretty close to an item as well, and we just didn't have any control of the zone. So maybe even in situations like that, if we're stronger, it doesn't really matter if you complete like the LDR if you have like zone, or maybe other people can play it and we can be a little bit smarter with like how we play our 4-man when Zven is basing. But then once we got on mid wave and they like took complete control, it's very hard to face check into them. So I think we just had to be like a little bit cleaner with how we're playing the stretch before. If there's ways to funnel more gold, I'll have to look at it again. Is there ways we can funnel more gold into our AD carry? Is there things that we can do to kind of bluff that we're still in the zone so that they don't feel confident to just walk in and take it when he's basing? Or like, can we just take control and potentially not base? So I just have to look at it again and just see exactly what the situation is there. But yeah, as soon as we ult on mid, it was just kind of GG. And I think our team also felt like we could still win even into Soul. Like if we have Baron, and I think that it was true, right? If we got Baron, they can't really handle our siege. Like even though they have Soul, we're not going to be really hitting them. We're just going to be hitting the turrets, and they're not going to be hitting us either. So we're just, or like if they hit us, we're just going to shield it, heal, whatever, and keep on playing. So we're not really playing in a way where the Soul should have that much effectiveness. And I think that if we didn't like dive in their middle inhib, and we just like kept on playing the way we were, we got mid, we got the inhib, we were getting top at the same time, we would get top inhib, play bot, and then they wouldn't be able to play the game anymore. So, I mean, I think that what happened was reasonable. I think it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, we just have to see if we can clean it up a bit. I think there was other problems that made the game like harder earlier on. Like for example, we didn't know, like when we tried to kill Ori, we thought he had no flash and he had flash. So we just died and like nearly lost the advantage. Azir died as well, and the game is suddenly so much harder than it should have been.
Okay, one last, sorry. Do you miss streaming like full time? Okay, because now you did like pro player, now you did streaming a lot, and now you're just doing full time coaching, but you still stream occasionally, right? You do like when you're not playing on LCS, you do like LCS. So do you ever miss like full time streaming right now, or are you just like satisfied with coaching at the moment?
No, I like coaching. I mean, honestly, the way I feel about my own stream is my stream is better the less I do it. You know, like if I'm streaming all day, every day, it's like it's just hard to be entertaining for like 10 hours a day. You know, like it's hard to, you just get tired.
Yeah,
you don't have shit to say at some point. And it's like, what do I even say? Like, so I just enjoy kind of what I've been doing right now with coaching. I mean, who knows how sustainable it is, because obviously streaming is like way more lucrative for me than coaching. But this is just something I wanted to do. And I just also really like the players. You know, I got to work with them last year outside of Ian, and I want to see the players succeed, and I want to compete. Like I still have the delusion that NA can do well internationally. You know, like I can just you know, fully commit and just try my best. You know, like I want to, you know, win LCS. I want to go international. I want to compete on those stages, and I just believe in my players. So that's what I'm just motivated to do right now.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, who would watch somebody for 10 hours? Anyway, thank you for taking the time.
No problem.
Thank
All
you.
Right,
bye.
Bye.